morning. Don, if you can let everybody else back in, that'd be great. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Got him.
All right. Okay, a little levity starting the morning as we're coming in here. This is obviously we're doing our virtual brokerage meeting. We've been doing it for the last almost 3 years now, every first Thursday of the month. I have some. We're going to try to do an in-person one next month. So we'll talk about that more later in the meeting. So as people continue to join, I'm excited about that. I get them in here, and we're recording. Thank you all for joining. For those who joined early, thanks for enduring the music, enjoying it along with me, bopping my head. So, all right. So I always want to start off. This is not to scare you, not to remind you, but there are 146 days left in the year. So whatever your goals were for 2025, this is how much time you have left to meet them. So it's 4 months, 24 days, 20 weeks and 6 days, or 3,504 hours left. And I'm saying Diamond Awards are coming for those that are Game of Thrones fans. Diamond Awards is at the end of the year. We celebrate our agents, and you qualify for Diamond Awards by having a GCI, gross commission earned, of 100,000 or more. Once you've got that, not 99,999, but 100,000 and more, you're a 1 Diamond Award. And of course, 200,000 is a 2 Diamond, and 300,000, 3 Diamond, 400,000, 4 Diamond. And the highest award we have is 5 Diamond. And we have people that have already reached a 5 Diamond for this year already. So we have to encourage them, but we want to get as many of you as possible so we can celebrate you in a group again, probably in the beginning of next year. This last year, we did it at the Houston Aquarium. It was a great event. So want to get as many as possible out there. So there you go. 3,500 hours. That's kind of scary, right? And I wanted to share this too from Robert Kiyosaki. It says, we all know this. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Isn't that true? No matter what, in business or at home, you'll find reasons not to make that phone call. You'll find reasons not to follow up with your clients. You'll find reasons not to grab a lead or whatever. So if you want it, you're going to do it. Find a way to get it done. So just encouragement for all of you this morning. And here we go, Nelly. Okay. All right. And welcome to, I'm not sure how many of them are on the call right now, but if you are new to HomeSmart, welcome to the family. We call it the family. It's a business family here, but we try to create a culture where we network, collaborate. Obviously, we're here to support you in your career. These are all the agents that joined us here in the last month of July. So that's Nick, Ron, Olinka, Eugenia, Mohammed, Yolanda, Caden, Didrion, Barbara, Jeannie, Wen, Sharita, Carry-On, Kimberly, Shoaib, Louisa, Victoria, Jason, Erica, I have no idea, Chidumanga, Guadalupe, Fernando, Destani, and Armando. Welcome to HomeSmart. Welcome to the family. All of you, you'll have a lot of fun when we have all of our events to meet the fellow HomeSmart agents. We're very generous here and love working together. So, all right. And here comes Cecilia. Good job. All right. If you are new to HomeSmart, and if you're not new to HomeSmart, but you need a reminder as well, we do a lot here. We, meaning me and Don and our broker team and corporate, as far as our training team from Arizona. But we have an onboarding. There's a national onboarding, and there's a local onboarding. There's a local agent orientation that's on your RSA calendar, and that's where you can come in and meet the team, me and Don and Crystal. You can get a tour of the offices, any one of the 4 offices. We have a Contracts 101 class, which Don's going to talk about more later, that we do a contract class in person just for those that need help writing their first contract, or just a refresher on how to write a proper contract in this market. We got 3 clock hour classes every second Wednesday, which we have one coming up next week. We'll talk more about that in a second. Smart Start, obviously, we have a lot of on-demand courses in your Real Smart Agent, video courses and education, how to get started with HomeSmart, everything about every detail, every tool. There's a video for it. There's everything we do here, including this meeting, is recorded, so you can go back and look at past meetings, past trainings. There's a lot. We have Elevate 23 and 24 available in your on-demand cycle, and Elevate 2025 is coming out, which is where our leaders, Todd Sumney and others, come together and teach classes on how to grow your business in this market. So that's coming soon. That's a video series as well. Obviously, we have a bi-weekly coffee talk with the broker, and that's been a great time with Don and I on the call, taking questions, talking about scenarios, getting agents, getting everybody talking about what's going on in their market and their business. We have the bi-weekly Friday fundamentals. We got a great one coming up tomorrow. We'll talk about in a second as well. That's where we dive deep on usually a form or a topic that's deeper, that's part of your business. And Don's been doing a great job of that as well. So obviously broker line, broker email, you can always reach out to the broker team via the broker email, brokerhou@hsmove.com, or the broker line. It goes to both of us. Just a second, Marcian. We have mentorship, which Don will talk about in a second. Obviously teams, there are a lot of teams looking for team members. There are obviously you at any point in time, you can book an appointment with one of us or both of us. There's commercial team meetings. I know Robert's on the call today. He'll talk more about that. And we have tons of events here. So we have holiday events, awards events, elite event, top 15 events, summer events, and so much more. We are actively doing things, branch lunches and so forth, where there's a lot of value and activity that we offer. But as new agents to HomeSmart, it's up to you to take advantage of the tools that you have. There's a lot. Pick a few. Get engaged with the events. Get engaged with the opportunities to network with the other agents here. You get onto our Facebook page and network there. There's places to host open houses, to ask for other people to host them for you, to post your listings, to get questions answered on Facebook as well. So pretty much we've given you multiple ways to get a hold of us and to receive help. And that's it. And then someone had raised their hand. Question. Go ahead and.
I don't think the hand was raised. I think
someone asked a question. I think it was. So I didn't see it. Okay, moving on. All right. As most of you know, but if not, you're newer here. This is our team as it stands. Hopefully, we'll get some more admin help here in the near future. They've been promised it. So we've got myself as the broker here and market leader, Don's assistant broker and mentor manager. Cecilia Hernandez is on the call today, our broker review person. Ryan Rugi, I'm not sure if Brian's on the call today, but you've all talked to him at some point in time, getting signed on with HomeSmart. And of course, Crystal Gonzalez is just about, she should have a better title. I'm telling you, she has agent services, but she also has admin for all of our offices. We could not survive without Crystal. So we need to duplicate or replicate Crystal if we can. So, okay. All right. We have smart partners. Now, I don't know if Brittany's here with us today, but we do have smart partners. Are any of them on the call? So I'm going to go through these in a second. The smart partners are companies and groups that partner with HomeSmart to provide money for a partnership so that when we have events, when we have training, that they can all be provided to you at no cost, which is great. And so they're essential to doing business, and they've been great recently. So we have Patriot Commission, which is our very own commission advance company, which is great. We've got other companies we work with when you guys need an advance before closing on commissions. We have Movement Mortgage. Is anybody from Movement Mortgage here?
I don't see anybody.
Okay. For many of you, we had a class last Friday. Robbie from Mortgage did another class. They did 2 in a row now. They've been fantastic. If you want to go look at sort of the first-time homebuyer programs or unique programs offered by Movement to actually get your property sold or have your buyers off the fence, there's some great things. There's 100% product. There's a sell now, buy now, sell later product. There's really good stuff. So check it out with Movement Mortgage. Obviously, we got Muscular Moving Man and Storage. Anybody here for there? May not have any of our smart partners today. That's great. But this is our nationwide sponsor. They're working with HomeSmart nationwide. And then we have HWA Home Warranty. I know Tammy said she couldn't make it today. Is Angela here?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. And we have Move Concierge, which you guys all know. This is the help at no cost to your clients, transfer utilities, frees them up, gives them less of a headache. And of course, it's a service partner with HomeSmart. American Home Shield is our second home warranty company, also a great partner. I want to call out a couple here. This is our local partners, Patriot Commission, HWA Home Warranty, Move Concierge, Movement Mortgage, Muscular Movement Storage, and American Home Shield. I want to call out both HWA Home Warranty and Movement Mortgage lately. It's because of Movement Mortgage. Not only did they teach 2 classes, but they hooked us up with a training room for the rest of the year at no cost to HomeSmart, which is great. And new partners, which is fantastic. And of course, HWA Home Warranty just did the last 3 Photoshop, headshot events for us at no cost to us. And they're hosting open houses for some of our agents. So really stepping up and helping out our agents and our company. Machine, did you have a question?
Yes, good morning, first of all. And then, I don't know, is it my computer or your voice doesn't come across clear? Thank you.
It could be me or not, but otherwise, I think we're maybe your computer.
Oh, I don't think so too. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I hear you fine, Marty.
Okay, sounds good, Laura. Thanks, Nelly. Okay, coming up. Next up, we have our national partners. Of course, here, these are ones that Reminder Media, Express Docs, Fellow, and so forth are those that partner with us on a national level, not just local. Okay, I said Movement Mortgage. It's because, again, our training room, those trainings, what a great partnership they've proven to be. So, and then the programs they're offering, I definitely recommend us at least using them as one of your 3 you refer. HWA Home Warranty. Tammy's not here today. I wanted to shout her out, but this is our second event with the group. This group, these are all partners. Tammy's right there in the top there. These are all people from Stewart Title, from inspection companies, from and so forth. And this one, we have another group of different title companies and Photograph. But we have Upward Title, Stewart Title, StarTex Title, First Rate Inspections, Johnson Developments, Sunburst Photography, HWA Home Warranty, and Movement Mortgage all put together our free lifestyle photo shoot events at these different events, 3 different ones. And so all of you that took advantage of it, it turned out great. And those that missed out, it was pretty cool. So give them a shout out for that. It was fun. So. All right. A couple other things. We always want to do a tech highlight, if you will, when we're here at HomeSmart. HomeSmart's very, tech forward and a lot of tools. I'm going to breeze through these fairly quickly, and we'll focus on one each month, if you will. But just I wanted to give you an overview so you can see some of the things you probably don't even know we have, which is great. Thanks, Don. So obviously, Real Smart Agent, right, is your agent transaction management system. We take it for granted. It's our own internal portal where we manage all of your paperwork and broker review and so forth. It's fantastic. Over here, we have the agent app. Of course, you can communicate with your clients and listings and so forth. You have the client app. We have the Marketing Design Center, which we launched last month with the profiles, and are continuing to add stuff to it, whether it be flyers and social media and so forth. Great thing there. Okay, good. And then we've got our CRM, which I have not used yet. I'd like to get some feedback from those of you that have used it, but still it's a basic CRM, a customer relationship management software that's built into Real Smart Agent. We've got Smart Showings, which creates a paperless interactive experience. We can actually set up showings for our clients and a map and so forth that you can send to them. We've got a Smart Site, which is your own website, that you can customize or import data when clients come to your website. It goes right into your CRM. We've got obviously the document. This one's the one we're working on, the buyer's offer tool. So you can do it right inside your portal. There's the smart tools. Obviously, this is for marketing your property. So you can do your own property video for listing. You can do a smart flyer for your listing. You can do a smart gallery. It's unique website for that particular property, all in there with a push a button. We've got the Smart Signs and Smart Writer, which just came out. This is the one where they can go to your property, you can use their phone, and they can see all the properties locally around that property as well. So they can get information that's tagged to you, and then you get the information from them and pick up leads that way, which is pretty cool. Home Near Me, this is that one, we're just talking about that as well. Smarty, obviously, we're using AI a lot now to answer your questions. So a lot of the broker questions, not just Don's broker line question of the day, but other questions are loaded into AI so that when you type into Smarty, a lot of your answers can be answered there as well. And then, of course, RPR is we're the only company so far that's integrated your membership to Realtor Property Resource into Real Smart Agent. So if you are a member, because you get a free membership through your NAR membership, then you can access it through Real Smart Agent. And of course, AI Home Design is our latest thing, which means you go in there and you get a free AI rendering of your photos, and then you can sign up for an ongoing service if you choose. But we've partnered with them to do so basically photo editing. And then, of course, Real Smart Vendors, where we have our vendor marketplace for those that have partnered with HomeSmart to get discounts to provide service to you and to your clients. So there's a lot, and there's even more coming. So, hey, Ryan, did you join the call today or not?
I don't see him.
They were running a July promo for new agents to us, and I believe they're extending that through August. And it just basically, if you have anybody thinking about joining our company, send them Ryan's way, because they're running a really great special about free business cards and like a sign for sign exchange type thing. So it's a great time to join our company. Robert, I did see Robert here. Robert is in charge of HSI Commercial. Robert, you going to join us?
Yep. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, thanks for having me. So we've got a team in Houston. I'll put our stuff in the chat, but just go to our website, hsicommercial.com. And we've got a small team there, and we can help you out with referrals, whatever you need. We'd love to work with you. I think things are going well on the commercial side. It's kind of wonky, when you're dealing in commercial, is that you've got so many different product types. One will be doing good and the other one will be doing bad. So kind of all over the board in terms of kind of what's going on in our various product type worlds. But we've got an agent to cover every type. So that's the great thing about our team in Houston. So yeah, we're here. We'd love to work with you.
And you have a meeting once a month. When is that?
Yeah, third Thursday at 10 Eastern. And you can sign up for that or just send me an email and I'll shoot you an invite. And we'd love to have you join us. I think this month we're going to talk about cost segregation. It's a pretty heavy topic. It's basically about how you can work with a client who's selling a property to get a tax advantage by segregating costs on their investment. So it's kind of a unique topic specific to commercial. So I'm excited about that.
And then I know Jeff Hammond, one of your Georgia agents, had a smart meet the other day, and people were asking for the replay. Do you have a copy of that, or should I?
Yeah, I don't know where that is, but it is available with all the other smart meets. So it's definitely something you want to take a look at. Jeff kind of breaks down his business and how he works, the time and money involved in running a commercial, business of your own. It's quite a commitment. So he's kind of great at telling everybody about what it's like behind the Iron Curtain.
I think he's in the top 50 too for the company as far as, and one of the top number one commercial agents. So
yeah, number one commercial agent in top 50. Yep. And he'll also be at the Ignite that we're going to have in October. So if anybody's going to be there, I'd love to meet you.
Wonderful. And of course, this is our local team here, right?
Yep.
Commercial agents.
Yep. That's our team.
Okay. And of course, if you are, a lot of our agents dabble with commercial, and the greatest thing is we prefer you work with or refer to one of our commercial agents. They have the expertise in each one of these that you see there. Jeff, Gaston, Atif, and Aaron kind of have their own specialties too. So it depends on the property type, right, Robert?
Yeah. Yeah. It's always best just to contact me first, and I'll figure out who's the right person for your deal. Anywhere in Texas, we can cover it.
Yeah. Georgia and Texas, right? What if there's commercial anywhere else?
So in Atlanta, we do cover a couple surrounding markets. We have some agents that have multiple licenses, like Gaston, I think, has Louisiana, but obviously he has to work with either a local broker or something else to make those deals happen. But anything that you've got, I can help you, or at least let you know what we can or can't do. Okay.
And obviously commercial, there's been some changes around CoStar and LoopNet. You want to touch on that real quick?
Yeah, sure. We provide a discounted rate on CoStar. CoStar is our main MLS that we have. So it's a nationwide MLS for commercial, and it costs an agent almost $500 a month. It's about $430 a month for CoStar, and that's a discounted rate that we have on our corporate side. And if you're an investment salesperson, you would use different services like Crexi, which is one MLS listing service that competes with CoStar, or you would use LoopNet. So LoopNet you can list for free, which you can do, but they also have like silver listings, but they drastically increased the price on those. So I think right now it went from $70 I think a month now up to $100. So a little bit of a problem with our monopoly MLS that we are dealing with, but hopefully things will get better there. But it's quite an investment to work on the commercial side. So let's just keep that in mind. If anybody's interested, they can contact me and I'll give you more details.
Cool. And his contact information is right there on the screen, and you can probably put it in the chat as well. So
yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Thanks, Robert.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Yeah. Bye.
All right. And all right. I'm gonna give my good friend over here and for everyone. And of course, we have Don Leonard. You are up, assistant broker and mentor manager.
I think Elena has a question. I didn't
Oh.
know if it was for Robert or not, so I thought maybe you want to grab it.
No. It was actually for the two of you. I just went
Okay.
too fast, and it's only because I have a meeting like in 20 minutes, and I
Sure.
wanted to catch the two of you. On that termination fee that you guys receive, and just for my general knowledge, how does HomeSmart process the termination fee on a listing agreement? Because I'm going to start charging those. I used to do it, then I stopped, but I think with the market the way it is now, if any of my clients terminate my listing for whatever reason, they change their mind, has been in the market 6 months, it doesn't sell, whatever problems. So what's the process on your end?
Everything like that, where you get a cancellation fee, a termination fee, a consulting fee, or showing fee, those are all miscellaneous transactions. So they'd be
Okay.
handled at 10%. Basically, that's how it works. And it'd be a miscellaneous file.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
There is a minimum of $50 though.
Yep.
On the miscellaneous charge.
And a maximum of $3.99. But yeah.
Really, we decided Marty would keep it one time, and then I would keep it the next time.
There we go. There we go.
Well, now
like
I
the
know.
idea.
Well, now I know. So instead of charging my minimum 400, I can charge a 450 to cover the 50.
That's
Yeah.
what
There you go.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
So I wanted to, like I said, I haven't charged it because the market was okay before. But with the market being this way, it's like you already spend time dropping signs, marketing flyers, knocking doors, calling people, and then 5 months later that's like, okay, we changed our mind. I was like, okay.
I will say this, that in other markets, and we've had this question yesterday by one of our agents, is that on their listing agreement, oftentimes they'll put in there a commission amount plus, a $4.95 or $4.98 for fees that they pass them on to the sellers, and this is my fee to do business. So possibility here too. So
Yeah, I do that, Marty, and it has
Yep.
been very successful. And because I provide a good service, and the company now, HomeSmart, is very well known with the marketing material, and I use it, so they do not mind. I haven't had zero complaint on the seller on that fee. I covered, my standard commission, whatever I negotiate, plus that fee to the broker, then no problems.
there we go. Okay, perfect. Don, take it away. Thanks, Lena.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our monthly meeting. So, do I have the ability to move this on? I don't think I do. Thank
No.
you. All right. So, of course, one of my positions here is mentor manager, and the mentorship program, if you're not familiar with it, if you're one of the newer agents, you might want to consider it. It's a great structured program to get you started and get your feet wet and teach you exactly how not only to navigate through our systems, which there's a lot, you saw everything that Marty went through, everything that we have available. The vast majority of that's available really through one platform that we have, RSA, but trying to navigate that sometimes is a little bit difficult to do if you're not used to it. If you don't know exactly where to go, you can spend hours going through everything that's there. So part of mentorship, one of our very first meetings in our structured mentor program is to learn how to navigate through all of that. And then, of course, there's a session that has to do with working with sellers, another session that has to do with working with buyers. And so it really is designed just to kind of give you an overall view, an overall view of how to work both sides of the business. You know, you get to a point, maybe at one point in your career where you like one side more than the other, but in the beginning, you really need to try to make sure that you understand how both sides work so you can figure out which way you want to go. So the mentoring program is a 6-session program, no upfront cost. The cost comes from your first 3 closings, and your first 3 closings, you'll be charged based on the sales price of the property. And so for mentors, and we're always looking for mentors and we're looking for mentees, obviously, all the time. Right now, we are at a point where almost every mentor has at least 2, maybe 3 mentees that they're working with. So we always have room for more. If you're interested in being a mentor, then we do have a minimum requirements that go along with that. We don't want just anybody being a mentor. It really needs to be somebody who understands the business and has a book of business and some experience in order to do that. But if you're interested in it, then I would be happy to talk to you about that. And the mentoring program also, for those of you who are newer in the business, or even if you're just stuck, if you're in a place where you feel like that you're not going any further and you could use a little bit of help, then that might help too. And part of the mentoring program, and it's not really listed here, is what we're calling the one and done program, which is one transaction. If you got out of the business for a little while and now you're getting back in because of all the changes that we've had that have taken place over the last year and a half or so, and you feel like that it's almost like starting over again, you know how to do the business, you know how to go out and work with people, you know how to get prospects, you know how to get contacts, you know how to do all that, but it's the paperwork that's throwing you behind. Then we do have that one and done program where we can set you up with a mentor on one transaction where you can go through the paperwork, learn how the paperwork works, and go from there. So if you're interested in that, our mentors are also available for that program as well. And if you have an interest in that, feel free to let me know. We have one new mentor, Vara Salvadori, who has just joined us as a mentor. Congratulations to that. And we've had 3 new mentees that have joined in the last month since our last meeting, Jana Turco, Jacqueline Castillo, and Javier Avilan. So, but welcome to everybody who's part of the program. And like I said, if you have an interest in it, please contact me and I'll be happy to go over it with you. We've got a lot of information that we can share that'll help you decide whether or not this is something that you think will help you or not.
And one more thing on this too, it's not about mentorship, but it just reminded me too that HomeSmart does offer transaction coordinator services. You can do it for every deal, or you can do it for one transaction. And there's a menu for that. I'll send out again so you all know about this. But we do have one in corporate, that especially for our agents that are super busy, that we're constantly saying, hey, we need your paperwork. We need your paperwork. It may be, it would make sense financially and compliance-wise for you to partner with our transaction coordination services.
That's a great point. Yeah, we make sure that we put that out there because that's available if you're in that position. I see our question. How much is it?
Yep, I'll send it out, Winnie. It's a couple $100 per transaction. It's not a lot. So I will get the flyer back out for everybody. It's also in your Real Smart Agent downloads too, the flyer for transaction services. So
that's where we start talking about opportunity cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like cost me $700 to have somebody who can take it from point A to point B, but what could I be doing with that time if I wasn't having to babysit this thing?
Exactly.
Yep. So, all right, common mistakes that we've used this one now 2 or 3 times, but the reason we keep using it is because we keep having the same mistakes that show up on our paperwork. And of course, the loading of the paperwork really needs to be within 5 days of when you create it, because that way we can handle any of these common mistakes that we run into without it being at the last minute right before closing. And now all of a sudden we've got paperwork that needs to be fixed, and it gets a little bit tough sometimes to get that done. And that's where sometimes your commission ends up sitting in Arizona rather than you being able to get paid at the table. And we don't want that. We want you to be able to get paid at the table rather than have the entire amount go to Arizona and then have to wait for them to process it and turn around and get you paid. We don't want that. We're a table funding state. We have that huge advantage over a lot of states where that just doesn't even exist. So we want to make sure that you take advantage of it. So of course, the old forms, it's getting to the point where that one seems to be getting a little bit better. Usually, if anything, the old form that we run into now is usually the IABS. The new IABS that came out, where it has a date of February the 10th in the top right-hand corner. Some of us are still using the one from 2015, and that was required to be changed in April. The only other thing, a lot of times, and we're about to talk about this here, the only other thing that normally we find on the IABS, and it's not really an old form, it's just incorrect, where we're using the old information before I got here in January, where you're putting Marty on both line 2 and line 3. A lot of you have just taken that same information and transferred it over to the new form, and that's not right. So my information needs to be on line 3, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Backdated documents. You got to be really careful about that. Timestamps give you away. And it's getting to the point to now where we see that if things are handwritten and dates are handwritten in, it kind of makes us wonder, did you really get this done in a timely manner or not? But make sure that the timing of your documents are done correctly, at least for the time being. Buyer reps, IABS buyer reps must be done prior to go out and showing property or anything else. When we see a buyer rep dated with today's date, but dated all the way back to July the 1st, and we see that it went under contract in the middle of July, we know you didn't get the buyer rep done in a time frame that it required to be done. And this is not our requirement. This is the rule now. This is what this lawsuit settlement thing was all about, is that has to be done. Now, I do understand that the state of Texas, along with some other states, have already done this, but the state of Texas is looking at the potential to create a situation where that may not continue to be the case, but it is the case for now. And I shared an article on Facebook the other day where the attorneys who won that lawsuit against NAR and against all the companies back in August of last year that became finalized in November are now starting to audit. They're starting to go back and look and see whether or not the paperwork has been done in a timely manner or not. In other words, they're trying to build up for another lawsuit. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to find evidence that the new rules are not being followed the way they're supposed to, and that's going to give them the opportunity to pick up where they dropped off and go after everybody. And by everybody, I mean agents and everybody who's not doing the paperwork properly. So got to watch that. That's very important. That's critical, really, at this point. Missing addenda, missing initials, missing signatures. One of the things, if you remember your agency class and your contracts class, one of the things we have to have in order to have a valid and enforceable contracts is what they call offer and acceptance, where both sides have agreed to the same thing. The only way that we can demonstrate that is by having all the signatures, all the initials, every place where it's required. If you're missing initials, if you're missing signatures, then you may or may not even have a contract. It may be a void contract because it was never created the way it was supposed to be done. So got to watch that one too. Having a listing in MLS without a listing agreement. This one we don't run across very often, but it's really a major issue with HAR. If they ever find out that you put something in the MLS without a signed listing agreement, you're talking about a $500 fine if they find out. And I don't know how they would find out other than somebody tattling on somebody, but some people will do that.
And
Go ahead.
From HomeSmart compliance standpoint too, when it's in the MLS, the RSA sweeps the MLS for new listings tied to your license number, and it will pop up and let you know you don't have a file created for this.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then if you don't create a file, then HomeSmart will find you as well. So just be aware of that. Not only with MLS, but that you could be double whammy. So make sure that you have a signed listing agreement before you list it, and you create your transaction file as well once you've listed it. So,
which goes into number 5,
Yep.
not creating a transaction file until the day of closing. That does not give anybody the opportunity to review those documents before closing. And again, we've had it happen where because of that, you don't create your file, it goes ahead and closes and funds and everything, but you still can't get your money because the documents weren't correct and you have to go back and get it done. So we really don't want that.
Jeanette's got a question, but before Jeanette, one of the things on this too is make sure you're all looking in. When you look at your transaction file, you'll see green check marks, red check marks. Oftentimes you'll see a file that's all green, but you have notes down below. Those are notes from our broker team, whether it be me or Don or Cecilia, that something needs to be corrected. That those have to be cleared as well. And all too often, agent assumes the file is fine, but it's not fine because it hasn't been cleared. So make sure you're reading your notes. And once you've submitted documents, go back and look to see if there's been any notes created.
Yeah, that's a great point. All those green check marks mean is that it's been reviewed. It doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't issues that need to be resolved.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Jeanette, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Okay. In this current market where you've got some sellers that are just being obstinate about reducing the prices, that they still want you to list the property. And then sometimes to refresh it, like we used to be able to just, let it expire and then re-enter it. Okay. With the same listing agreement, we update the listing agreement. Is that still allowed? Where you can just update the listing agreement when you resubmit the listing into MLS? It's got a new MLS number. And, is an updated listing agreement an amendment to the update to the original listing agreement acceptable?
I would say if it expires, yes, because you can revive a dead contract with the extension to it. If you terminate, no, you have to start afresh again. So if they terminate the listing with you, you've got to start with a fresh new listing. Don, thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, we had that situation come up, and I talked to HAR about coming in and refreshing the listing to make it look like a new listing. Yep. And I was told that there is no prohibition against it as long as you have the paperwork to back it up. So if you have an active listing and you decide you want to go and put it back in as a new listing, then what you have to do is have the paperwork to back that up, which means you have to have a signed termination agreement with that seller and a new listing agreement to back it up. If you're going to call it a new listing, it has to be a new listing. And of course, the risk here is that if they are not really sure whether or not they want to go ahead and sign a new listing agreement with you or not, you terminate it, then they may say, now that I think about it, maybe I'll go out and maybe shop with some other agents. So there is a risk to it, but according to HAR, it's okay. There's no prohibition against it as long as you have the paperwork to back it up. And if they ever come and audit that and want to see the paperwork to back it up and you don't have the paperwork to back it up, then you're violating the rule about having have the appropriate status change within 3 days. And so again, you're talking about, whatever fine they decide to levy for that. But as long as you have the paperwork to back it up, they said it's okay.
One more thing on that, Jeanette, too, not specifically on that particular thing, but the HAR rules changed around the timing of this. So before, a property had to be completely off the market for 182 days before you could put it back on as a brand new listing. Mm-hmm. They've changed that to 90 days now. So For those that are taking off during the winter and going back on the spring, if it's been off for 90 days, you go back on like it's been brand new on CDOM and days on market. So there is that option too.
That's great. I wish these people would go away for 90 days. I'd be happy if they did go away for 90 days. Just give me a breather.
Hey, Juan, you got a question real quick?
You answered my question because I read it that HAR allowed after 90 days, and I wanted to reaffirm myself, and you did answer it without asking. Oh, it's cool. Thank you.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, they just made that rule change to where
And that goes back to zero. As if a person it's not going to be a new listing number, but it's going to go to zero on the days on the market.
and CDOM, what they call cumulative days on the market. Yeah.
Yes,
Cumulative
absolutely.
and, DOM, days on market, is what the public sees.
Yeah.
CDOM is what
It's
we
what we
see.
see, yeah.
And so that clock will even be reset now after 90 days.
After you've been off the market for 90 days. Yep.
Thank you.
Don, you want to finish this or go to the next slide?
We can do it. Number 6, compensation confusion. This one we still have a lot of. Not getting a 2402, the TXR 2402. We only use the 2402 if we are being paid from the listing broker. And I know everybody thinks, well, the seller's paying it no matter what. Yeah, I get it, but you're getting too literal here. If it's coming from the seller, if the seller's paying the listing broker and the listing broker's paying us, you need the 2402. If the seller is paying us directly, where it doesn't pass through the listing broker, then you don't use a 2402. It goes in section 12A1B. It's not both. You're not going to see both. You shouldn't see both. Under maybe rare circumstances, you might. But for the most part, if the seller's covering it all, it goes in section 12. If it's coming from the listing broker, then it's 2402 plus shows up on page 10 of the broker information page for the contract, but not both.
This has come up a few times in the last couple of days, even where you still have to find out from the listing broker how it's being paid. They hadn't called the listing broker yet, so what do I put in the contract? We don't know. The idea here is it in the listing agreement? Is there a sharing aspect where the listing broker is cooperating with a buyer broker to pay compensation, and how much of it is? And if they're not, obviously you're putting the offer in. So absent, and this is where we dealt with this, absent information from the listing broker, it's always best to try paragraph 12, because you're like, all right, I'm going to make sure it's negotiable, because we've had agents recently, and we posted on Facebook as well, that put it on page 10, assumed they get a 2402 signed around, and the 2402 was never signed. Agent did not get paid.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we have a conversation, that we secure a conversation. And if you don't know, put it in paragraph 12.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. If we can't get the information from the listing side, the safe place to put it is section 12, because that way, if the seller signs off on the offer, then you're covered. And if they don't, if they want you to change it, then that's when you'll have that conversation about, well, I need the 2402.
And yeah, Erica, that's right. The agents need to call the listing broker. I know sometimes the listing brokers don't answer the phone, but this is your pay. You want to make sure you get this resolved ASAP. You don't want to wait until after the fact and lose out on your hard-earned money. So I think we had a hand raised. Yeah, we do. Nelly.
Yes, quick question. So if it's coming from the seller, so it's 12(1)(b, get it. But if only half is coming from the seller and the other half is coming from the buyer, then we have the rep agreement to back that up, right? We don't put nothing on page 10.
That's correct.
That's right. Yeah, because it's coming directly from your buyer, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what your buyer rep covers. And that's another issue when you put 0 in the buyer rep, because you're filling it out late and you're thinking, oh, buyer's not going to owe me anything. I'm getting it all from the seller side. And you stick 0 in there. That's not the way to do it. That's your buyer's acknowledgement that this is how much you're going to get paid. So if you have 0 in your buyer rep, thinking that you're getting paid from the listing side, by rights, you're not going to get paid at all. Yep. We will. The company will. Thank you very much. But we wouldn't do that. But Yeah, you've got to have the total amount that you are getting paid from any source in that buyer rep.
Yeah, the spirit of the law, the spirit of the rule in a settlement is you cannot make more than you disclose to your buyer. So you have to disclose the full amount that you're getting. Yep.
Yep. Last one, number 7, listing agreement information. If you mark the word does, I think everybody's learned on this one about section 5, where you've already got the authority in that box in 5A1 and 5A2. You've already got the authority to share how much you as the listing agent's going to share with the buyer side. They already gave you authorization to do that. The part that's under that box says, in addition to that, is the seller going to give you authorization to also acknowledge that they will consider offers that include some other concession to the buyer, like paying by closing costs and things like that. If you mark yes, if you mark does, then you got to switch over to another document, the TXR 1412, which is the language that the seller is authorizing you to use when you give that information that yes, they're willing to consider. I think this is all just my personal opinion, and the one that I have shared with agents when they ask, I would just put does not, because that's not going to stop them from asking for it anyway. And so that way, if the buyer's agent calls you, the listing agent, and says, will your seller consider offers with a buyer concession or paying closing costs or something like that, your response would just simply be, they've not given me authorization to do that, to say that, but if you want to put it in an offer, I'll be glad to present it for you. That way saves you from having to fill out that information, and the information may not actually be the same every single time.
Even the information just doesn't obligate the seller to actually do it.
Right. Yeah, they're not. You're right. It's just consider. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And then omitting answers in questions in section 12. There is a whole section. I wish I remembered the section number. In section 12, there are several letters. I think it's E, F, H, and I. I think there are 4 questions there that get asked that are really critical, but they kind of get buried in the verbiage, and they get missed a lot. And this one is very common, where the listing agent either doesn't ask the question because it's kind of an uncomfortable question, or they just ignore it. And it has to do with whether or not the seller knows of any liens on their property other than the mortgage. That's critical information, because if it turns out that the seller does know that they have liens on the property, that really may keep them from being able to sell it. And we would sure hate to get 3 weeks into a transaction, have the buyer have spent hundreds of dollars on inspections and loan application and appraisal and all of this, just to find out that the seller really knew that there were these liens on the property and that the property is not going to be able to be sold. You're going to have a buyer who's going to come back and say, hey, in good faith, I spent all this money trying to buy the property. You acted in bad faith and saying that you had the ability to sell the property when you knew you really didn't. And we could be included in that because we had the ability to ask the question and disclose the information, and we didn't do it. So, do you have something, Marty?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Then we can go on. And the last part of mine is licensed supervisor versus delegated supervisor. Another common issue that we have is who name goes where. And I underlined it. You'll see it here. Licensed supervisor, we only have one licensed supervisor. And that's that other guy in the red shirt. That's him right there. Yeah. So he is our licensed supervisor. Everything that happens falls under his supervision. Everything I do falls under his supervision. Everything's under his supervision. His name, you see it underlined here. His name is on line 2 of everybody's IABS. His name is on every sales contract, no matter what. The broker information page, it may be page 9 if it's an unimproved property, maybe page 10 on just about the rest of our contract forms. His name always goes in the broker information for any sales contract, not mine, his. I don't want that responsibility. It's his. Delegated supervisor, that would be me, and we have some other delegated supervisors too. My job is that he has delegated or transferred or selected me to handle some of the things to help you as agents. And so really it's answering questions and doing things like that. As the delegated supervisor, my name shows up on line 3 of the IABS for almost everybody. The only people that it would not show up for are mentees. For mentees, your mentor is your delegated supervisor. For those of you who are on a team, your team leader is your delegated supervisor. So line 3 of your IABS is going to vary depending on who you are. For most people, it'll be me. For mentees, it'll be their mentor. For team members, it'll be the team leader. So
Very well done. Thank you. That's good. All right. Thank you, Don. Appreciate
Yes,
you as
sir.
always. Yeah. Got more for you in a second here. So, couple of things. I went to a broker meeting with HAR. A couple announcements for you all. They've already got a data sharing agreement with San Antonio Board of Realtors and Austin Board of Realtors. And they've just signed one with the NITRIS, which is your Metrotex, your Dallas area. So basically your key, your e-key will work in all these markets, and you have access to the data of listings in all the markets as well. I know Don and I have a problem with you using your key in markets where you don't have competency, but you have access to. You don't have to get it co-op. You can go and you wouldn't have to do something different to show a property in those different areas. So that's good news. Basically, your access to membership through HER gives you 85% access to all the listings in Texas. That's pretty
holy
impressive.
cow. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, right? That's a lot. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. Yes, Maria.
You're muted, Maria. You're still muted.
Still muted.
I
You put it in chat if you want.
I can't unmute her.
Oh, here can I. She got to unmute herself. I'll go on to the next one. I'll wait for you. Go ahead and unmute yourself when you can. They're going to do the automatic rent spree link when you post a rental listing. That's a new update for HER. They talked about the legislative change. We talked about this before. It's going to be here on the ballot, so long as it's voted in by the people, which we believe it will be. Starting January 1, the homestead exemption will go from 100,000 to 140,000. And for those over 65, it will go to 200,000. And for people that have a business property, the personal exemption goes from 2,500 to 125,000. So huge difference for if you own like our personal property in the business. So it's a big exemption. It's going to save tons of money, and it should be good when people are buying houses that their exemption goes up. They pay less taxes on this. So make sure that we're telling all of our homeowners to file for their homestead exemption. Maria, you muted yet? No, not yet. You also shared this graphic, and we've all feel, things have slowed down a bit. Don shared an article on Facebook that showed that in the last 4 weeks, the Houston market's one of the markets around the nation that has seen a price decrease of about 1 to 2% across the board. So we're seeing that with increased listings, more time on the market, still waiting for interest rates to drop. But this is the year over year from 2016 to now, so the last 10 years. You can see from 2016, 17, 18, 19, all the way up to 2020, we're about the same place we were back in 2019 to 2020. Then you have the COVID years, the end of 2020 through the beginning of end of 2021, right? And then the dip in 2022 and 23. We're coming out of it. So the number of sales are around the same. The activity in the market's around the same as it was. Interest rates are within a half a point from where it was back in that 2019. So we're looking for more of a normal market. We're kind of in it. But what they're trying to say is, even though it feels different, it is on the upward trend, and it is more normal than it's been for quite a while. So just take heart now when you're talking to your clients. There are people out there, and including our agents, that are doing really, really well in this market. This is something we shared too on any business. Yes, I will share it with you, Laura. I'll share on Facebook as well. And this is something shared with us by our CEO, Katie Cooper. It's the idea behind any plan you have. You need to plan, you need to engage, you need to be consistent, and you need to articulate your values. That's with your sellers and your buyers, with your other agents in the market you wouldn't referrals for. Build a plan, work your plan, engage your plan, be consistent. You're going to be successful in this business. I think all too often when we don't see success, it's because we aren't consistent enough. There's lots of activities you can do and many different directions or many paths to get to business. Just choose one and stick with it in many cases, right, Don?
Absolutely.
All right. This one, I'm going to show you a little bit of video, a little tool you can use. Let me find the point where it's. All right. Watch this for a second. This is a good tip for all of us that are working with listings that might be useful.
Let's say that you're in a slowing market and you have a listing that's not selling. We would like to offer you an unconventional negotiating tool. If you have a buyer that looks at that property more than once and they don't write a contract, write what we call a reverse offer, sometimes called a seller offer. All it is your normal real estate contract. Prepare that, but then have the seller sign it first and submit it to the buyer. Here's the dynamics of what we have found typically happens on a situation like this. You have a buyer who keeps looking at the property. They tend to be piece or perfection buyers, not always, but that's fairly common. They're smart. They know the property is overpriced, but because they're piece and perfection, they don't want to offend somebody by making a low offer. So they just keep looking at the property. They keep what we call circling the property. On the other hand, you have a seller. Many times they're a power or a party personality, and they know they've overpriced, but they want some bargaining room. And so they're saying to you, well, just get me an offer. Get me an offer. We can work the offer. But they don't get the offer because the buyer doesn't want to offend them with a low offer. And so when you see you have these dynamics, have the seller submit an offer to the buyer. We call it a reverse offer or a seller offer. Now, I was teaching this in a Ninja installation, and a hand went up and says, I just can't imagine doing that. And I was about ready to share with them the hundreds of properties we've sold that way with seller offers or reverse offers, when a hand flew up in the back, and it was Taylor Dye. And Taylor says, well, I just sold a $2.6 million listing that way. Now, it matters who says it. So rather than me tell the story, I said, Taylor, tell us the story. How did that work out? Well, this is Taylor's listing. It's priced at $2.8 million. It's in the outside of Fort Collins, Colorado. It's on an acreage property. And here's the dynamics. The same buyer looked at this house 6 times. 4 times they said they would be bringing an offer, but they never did. So Taylor calls the buyer's agent. He says, hey, what's happening with your buyer? The buyer's agent says, well, the buyer can't make the numbers work. Now, Taylor's a great ninja, so what does he say? Tell me more about that. What do you mean they can't make the numbers work? Let's drill down a little bit deeper. Well, the buyer is self-employed. They have plenty of income. They can qualify for a jumbo mortgage, but they don't have very much cash, and they feel the property is overpriced. So the seller wrote a reverse offer to the buyer, offering to sell at $2.725 million, $300,000 seller second. So the seller would carry a second mortgage at a really low interest rate of 3%. That got the buyer in the game. And they countered at $2.5 million. The seller went back at $2.685 million, and it was accepted. And Taylor was able to find a lender who would make that jumbo first mortgage, and the seller made that $300,000 second mortgage, and the contract closed. Now, when you look at this, there's certain things that I think were success keys. One of them was Taylor picking up the phone and calling the buyer's agent and having voice-to-voice communication. This idea of going back and forth on email or back and forth on text, one of the keys here is pick up the phone and find out what the deal. Hey, what's happening with your buyer? And then now you have the conversation, and Taylor says, well, tell me more about that. They go deeper, and all at once, Taylor realizes they really want to buy this house. Let's go back and offer them an offer. And what the seller's reverse offer did, it got the buyer in the game. Think about when a buyer receives an offer. Well, think about when a seller receives an offer, they feel obligated to do something, either accept the offer or counter. The same thing happens in the dynamics with a buyer. If you submit an offer to the buyer feels compelled to either, sign it or counter it. So it gets them in the game. I think this is a great tool, especially in those markets where you have maybe more difficult selling houses. You have maybe listings that have been left over that are maybe a little bit overpriced. Consider the seller's offer or the reverse offer. Let's talk about the actions that you could take this next week that would make a difference in your business.
So there was a nice tip for those who are thinking about a different way of approaching it. The reverse offer was something that Ninja's teaching, and it has success, especially for some of our agents in Arizona. They've had success using that tactic. So I've never done that. I thought it was a cool idea. So I thought maybe I'd share it with you guys. All right. We want to celebrate some of our agents here who are rocking it, killing it here. We had our top 15 or our top producers lunch a couple weeks ago. Celebrating those in the second quarter. Of course, this is our top 15 for the second quarter. I posted this on Facebook as well. Congratulations to all of you. This is our group after lunch over there at PF Chang. So what a great group. Thank you all that were made it. I know that a few couldn't make it, like Lizette and so forth couldn't be there, but those that could, we had a great time together. And this is us. Hold on here. Here's the dinner table. So we're smiling, which is good, right? All right. Top teams in July of 2025. So last month, the teams are killing it. The Portillo Realty Group did 8 transactions last month. The Bay Area Group did 7. The Royal Realty Group did 3 in July. We have the top sales volume. That's the total number or volume of properties sold together. So the Portillo Realty Group, led by Jose Portillo, leads the room. Bay Area Group, led by Tracy Frederick, and of course, the Royal Elite Realty Group, led by Lizette. Congratulations to all of you for a great month of July. Top agents, the number of units. I didn't put the number there, but the agents here. Tracy Frederick, Eric Portillo, Rohit Serene, Douglas Rodriguez, Lizette LaBarca, Kimberly Johnson, Larry Babson, William and Gail, Alon Rue, all did great in July. Those are leading the number of units sold in the month of July. Those are closed, not pending. Those are closed sales. The sales volume, I did list the volume on this to just give you an idea kind of what our agents are doing. 2.6 million for Dana Kingshill, Tyler, Nigar, Sazid, William, Vladimir, Rachel, Rohi, Eric, and Tracy. You had to break the 1 million amount per volume just to make the top 10 in July. So some of those were bigger houses. Some of those were multiple houses. There you go. Congratulations to all of you. I know many of you will be on here soon. Year to date, I just like to keep things going here. This is the number, if you're keeping track of the total units sold year to date. Lizette's leading the way with 29. She probably has like 32 by now. Sheena, Tracy, Douglas, Travis, Henry, Eves, Faraya, Wendy, or Eric and Javier. So to make the top 11, you're at 12 closed transactions throughout this through July. So about halfway through the year. Volume wise, I'd like to put Tim's up there. Tim did this in like 2 deals. So these are monster commercial deals, the 26 million. But the rest of it, Ignacio, Lizette, Tracy, Travis, Sazed, Dana, Abdul, Faraya, Sheena, Ramiz, and Henry are mostly residential. So that's a lot of volume over the first 6 months of the year. So congratulations to all of you. And last but not least is, of course, this is where we're at with Tim leading the way. This is GCI. This is money in your pocket, take home. So you can see that we've got a lot of people doing really well this year. Timothy, over 500,000. Lizette, almost there. Sazed, Sheena, Henry, Travis, Ignacio, Douglas, Saeed, Carolina. And then 14 more HomeSmart agents are already over 100 grand, which what that means? It means they're already qualified for Diamond Awards. So we are already about 25 in. So we usually get about 65 at the end of the year, looking forward to get over that 100 mark if we can this year and celebrate each and every one of you. All right. As always, we put this up there. We've got about 300. And how many do we have now, Don? Almost 400 on the Facebook.
Yeah, little over 370. So yeah, we're getting there.
If you haven't joined yet, this is our internal Facebook page where we comment and share events and all kinds of stuff. So, okay. All right, events. We do a lot of events here at HomeSmart. If you're new here, this is our biggest one coming up in October. This is our annual conference. This year's special, we're doing it in Scottsdale. It is HomeSmart's 25th anniversary. Their registration prices will be going up soon, so make sure you register as soon as you can and reserve your room. This is going to be a great time. Get to tour a corporate, get to hear great speakers, come back motivated and equipped for growing your business. It's October 13th through the 15th. It's going to be good. This was our summer event we had here back in July. We rented out the top floor of Lifetime Fitness, the pool arena. We had access to the entire gym and spa for the whole day. We forgot to take pictures until the end. So this is the remaining group as we're leaving. There's a bunch of people in the pool and down using the gym and so forth, but we snapped a shot. So we'll do something else again, but it's a lot of great time for our summer event. We've got a class coming up on October 13th and one CE classes. We're all being held at the Republic Square building with a giant training room. And this is the classes for the rest of the year. We may add in an appraisal class too, just so you know. But just know that every second Wednesday, we have our CE class, which then we have the list of trainings coming up in August, September. I'll share this out for everybody so you have it. For the sake of time here. This is, we're having tomorrow. We're doing a Friday fundamentals. Donna's working on qualifying and working with buyers. It's a great slide deck. I looked at it today. Thanks for putting that together, Don. So tomorrow at 10 o'clock, join us again for our bi-weekly Friday fundamentals training. These are all recorded and stored in your Real Smart Agent as well. This will be a good one for all of you. Next Wednesday, we have our next CE class. This was in-person only. I couldn't figure out how to do a hybrid for this one. This is a foundation company coming out and doing a 3 o'clock hours on basically how to repair or how to deal with foundation issues, how to spot them, and how to understand them in a real estate transaction. I think it's really timely for this. You can sign up in Real Smart Agent for next week. It's going to be in person, like I said, at the Republic Square building, and food's provided. We have great sponsors, so make sure you sign up for this. We have a big room. We can actually hold 150 agents. So come, it's going to be good. Next up, they are, for those that are our elite agents, our top 150 agents, we have a quarterly event every quarter to celebrate you. Last quarter, we went to the Houston Astros game. That was a blast for all of you. We are quickly planning something on the 20th of August. It's TBD. I'll give you more information. But during the day, we're going to be doing a recruiting event, meaning we're going to have people from HomeSmart there. Somebody will be there. We'll be inviting agents that aren't from HomeSmart to come check us out. So if you have any agents that you think would like to join HomeSmart but needs more information, send their information my way and we'll get it into the hands of HomeSmart Corporate. And those that are elites, keep that same night. We're trying to plan something since we already have our corporate leaders here, some kind of event for you. So mark the calendar. All right. Don and I, through Deanna Mellis over at StarTech Title, has a training room that holds 25, 30 agents that we basically are running out of room on our monthly Contracts 101, where Don sits down with the agents and really helps them write their first contract, goes through the first contract and addendums and so forth. And we do it every single month. So now we have a training room. We can expand the opportunity for more agents. So the location will have more details coming, but starting the first one on August 26th. Don, you want to say anything about this?
Yeah, it's haven't had a chance to go and take a look at it yet, but they're going to even supply some drinks and snacks and really have it ready for us. So really should be great. 3 hours. We're going to do the 1 to 4 family and the third party financing addendum and also the HOA addendum. And so the way that we do it is we have a set of circumstances. We have a test case, and they'll fill out the contract based on the test case. And then we go through it page by page just to see how they filled it out and go over it that way. Gives them some hands-on experience.
Really, really, really helpful. So, and it's great we have the space for it now too. So kind of up in the game, if you will. I love it. All right. And then obviously you all got an email, but then this month's Smart Meet, August 22nd, right before that, virtually as well. Really, this is going to be a good one for you to attend if you can. And if I can find out where the replays are for that, I'll send it out as well. But it's always this is about team building. So if you ever thought about building a team or running a team, this is a great one for you as well. And last month was about commercial sales. This one's about team building. Each month's a different topic. This is something I'm excited about, really excited about. We've been wanting to hold an in-person brokerage meeting since I've got here. So for the last couple of years, and we just haven't had the space for it. Now that we have the training room over the Republic Square building where we do our CE classes, we reserved the room for September 4th. This is a big room that holds 150 people if you want. It's going to be catered. We have food and so forth with it. And we're going to have an in-person brokerage meeting with our smart partners, a good speaker, probably from corporate, and we're going to provide lunch afterwards. We're kind of combining like a branch lunch and a brokerage meeting in person September 4th. So mark your calendar. It's going to be a great time to network, a great time to meet people in person if you haven't, and it's going to be in a great building and facility. So we're looking forward to doing that. And of course, our September class is going to be about using Canva to market your listing. And it's kind of our marketing and science center is very Canva-like. So this will be a great course to how to navigate those type of things to increase and your marketing. All right. And then, of course, the Looney Tunes. That's all, folks. Yep. I'll stop sharing here. All right. Thank you all for joining us today. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, Christopher, right, go ahead. Christopher, go ahead and unmute yourself. I'll go ahead and stop recording while we're waiting for Christopher.